Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel Primary Teaching with Kyle, and my name is Kyle. Today's video is going to be all about my first ever NQT interview. I've recorded some videos pre and post interview, and then this is going to be my kind of introduction and overall thoughts. You will also see the lesson resource that I created, because the process for my interview might be different for other interviews. The process for my interview was to create a 30-minute lesson, then have a formal interview, and then have a tour of the school. But also there was 2 written tasks to be done. One of the written tasks was a lesson reflection, basically on what I thought went well, what I thought didn't, and then also extra things that I would do, for example, if it was a 60-minute lesson. And then the other task was a piece of marking and assessment. They'd given me a Year 5 book review, and I had to here is my lesson resource and mark it that I used and planned for my interview. The experience that they sent over was, the lesson outline that they sent over was a 30-minute lesson plan for an English based on one of their values. That their values this month is cooperation, but the learning outcome and the focus for the lesson can be decided by myself. They wanted to see a flavour of my style, so I decided to link it together, working cooperation and my style of lots of group discussion and lots of reasoning behind things. So I focused on kind of a creative / descriptive writing. So I used a picture that I found off Literacy Shed. I thought it was quite an interesting picture. I come up with a basic sentence: the couple went for a stroll in the forest, and I chose fronted adverbials, prepositions and subordinating conjunctions, because I know that these are Year 5 and Year 6 national curriculum objectives. I had then 3 slides of what they could be used for and examples of them. I used this also for the scaffolding because I knew there was 4 SEN pupils that needed help with literacy, so I'd printed these parts off and gave it to the TA who said she was happy to sit with those pupils. So they had them because it wasn't going to stay on screen for everybody else. It was just a quick refresher for everybody else. And then they went into their group tasks. Their group task was to write 2 or 3 sentences with the challenge with all 3 of those in. So hopefully it was linking cooperation in, and it was linking working together, working as part of a team, having a challenge, editing it, and up-leveling their sentences together. Right, it's the day of my interview. So the things I've done in advance: they've told me to do a 30-minute lesson focusing on one of their values, and an English lesson where I can choose the outcome. So I spent the weekend planning that, and then they're going to do a formal interview, which they've sent me of one of the questions in advance, which is quite nice. And then I've researched general questions of this areas that they will answer. So safeguarding behaviour, yourself, parents, community, that sort of stuff. In terms of preparation, I've got my pack with my DBS, my lesson plan, 2 USBs, and I've saved my lesson onto Active Inspire, PDF and PowerPoint, because I'm not sure how they use their lessons. From the class teacher, when I emailed them Friday, I know that I'm teaching 32 children, 8 of which are SEN, but 3 will need support if we're doing literacy based, which is why I decided to do a more group discussion lesson, because then they can use support from other students, but also I'll slot in the TAs with them as well. I've got my lesson plan, I've got my scaffolding and my extension part with me. We're doing a bit of creative writing in it, so I've got a picture printed off as well, so they can see that if they can't see it on the board. I've also got my application form and their Ofsted report and the advert in a little pack. I don't know whether I'm going to take it in with me, but it's there if I want to see it before. I think I'm ready. Right, some quick post-interview observations, reflections, whatever you want to call them. But overall, yeah, I enjoyed it. Nervous, unsure the whole way through. So the process was, I arrived at 10. I had 2 tasks to do, 2 paper tasks to do. One was marking a piece of work, a book review from a year 5, on the actual piece of work, and then also on a separate piece of paper. What would I say to the pupil? What would be my next steps? Okay. Then I delivered my lesson, a 30-minute lesson, like I said. And then after that, we went for a tour around the school, which is the head of Key Stage 2 took me around the school, and then I had a task 2 to do, which was like a lesson reflection. What I felt went well, what I felt didn't go well, on all those things. And then we had the formal interview, which is the bit that you all probably know about. Yeah. Overall, I feel like it went well. Obviously, a lot of the things you feel like, oh, I should have said that, should have said this, could have done this, could have done that. I think the big ones for the lesson is that I could have shown them more of the examples, but I did have it up on the board, and it was there, it was to show, and I wanted to do a lot of discussion parts of it. I just think it was such a hard lesson to do because you didn't know the ability range of the pupils, what they were working on before, what they were working on after. So I just focused on like a descriptive writing, creative writing part where they had to describe what it is, and gave them 3 big of a checklist to do. And maybe could have done some more teaching on these examples and be clearer with the terminology, and maybe written them up on the board or all that sort of stuff. But overall, I thought that went well. Overall, the question part, the extra formal interview part, I talked for a long time. Did give myself thinking time. Safeguarding one I ticked off. I said, give it to the DSL. I had an example of it. I think maybe I did lean too much on my TA support, but the questions I asked about the NQT was brilliant. The support and how to plan. I don't know. It's really hard to tell, but because there's so many other people that could be going for one job. It's so hard to tell. But whatever happens, it's an experience at the very least. Even if I don't get it, it's fine. I don't mind not getting it. I don't expect it to get it. It'd be a bonus if I do.